Greetings, friends. I'm AK.
And I'm Laura.
And we are
The Chainsaw Girls. Guys, we are so excited. We're getting closer and closer to our live event. We are screening The Lost Boys at the Screening Room in Buffalo, New York on October 20th. I can't wait. Tickets are on sale now. You can get them at Eventbrite, which is linked in the show notes and also on all of our social media accounts.
Yes, it's going to be such an intimate, cute little setting. We're going to hang out with all of you. We're doing a Q&A. We're doing so much. It's going to be so much fun.
I can't wait. Popcorn, photo ops.
Popcorn.
It's like a small venue too, so it's very, like you said, it's going to be intimate. We're all just going to be having a big hang. I'm so pumped.
Come hang out with us.
Yeah, please. Okay, let's get started on this episode.
Yes.
What are we covering today, AK?
Now, this one was one of my recommendations. I wanted to cover this Halloween-based movie, and this is 2007's Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
There is another movie called Trick or Treat.
Oh.
This one specifically is like Trick R or like apostrophe R treat.
Like trick or treat. Like just quickly.
Trick or
Trick or
treat.
treat.
Yep.
Trick or treat. Yeah.
Trick or Treat, just so you know.
Yes.
At the time of this recording, Trick or Treat, I could only find streaming on Max.
Okay.
And like the add-ons for Max. So like Hulu, but it has to be like the Max add-on type of thing.
I feel like I had to pay for it. I think I rented it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you can do that too.
I should have just watched it on HBO. I have HBO.
Oh.
Or Max, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
$4. All right. No, it's all good. Shall I read the IMDb?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. 5 Halloween stories. A principal has a secret life. A virgin is looking for her first time. Ooh. A group of kids pull a prank. A woman who loathes Halloween does not respect the rules. And a mean old man meets a demonic trick-or-treater. That sums it up.
Yeah, that does sum it up, and I'm glad it didn't give away too much.
Agreed.
Because one of the first things I want to tell you is that I hope you have already watched this movie.
Yes.
I
Please
imagine,
watch it.
Yeah, I imagine you'd want to watch it first. A lot of people have told us they like to watch them before the episode.
Yeah.
But especially with this one, I implore you, if you have not seen it, pause it, go watch it, because there are so many twists and connections in this movie. I watched it, I went in blind, and I'm so happy that I did. I like doing it that way. I don't like to even have a heads up on what's going on. And I find this movie so satisfying.
I really enjoyed it too. I saw it when it came out, I think on DVD. I'm almost positive I watched it in 2009, I think.
Okay.
I just recall that. I remember I was watching True Blood, and I saw that
Anna Paquin.
yes, that she was in it. And I was like, oh, I got to check this out. And obviously it's a horror movie. And I remember enjoying it, even when I watched it way back then.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it last year, and then I rewatched it again before we recorded this. And it's a really great Halloween movie.
It's a great story.
It's so fun, and it really does tie in. I was so satisfied, like you said, with the conclusion of the movie. It really ties everything up so nicely. It's great. So it had a $12 million budget.
Oh, wow.
It had a great budget.
That
yeah.
does make sense.
Yeah, I think so.
It was a high production.
High production. It was Warner Brothers. I think it was Legendary, which is a branch of Warner Brothers. However, I'm going to talk about the gross. Okay, it grossed in total $27 million, which
Like over time.
which is
Okay.
very exciting. However, when it was first released, it sat in like purgatory for quite a while, and it didn't actually go out into theaters.
Right.
It went to DVD and streaming.
Yes.
And it developed a very big following through DVD.
Yeah. And it wasn't until like a couple years later or something, right, that it started to pick up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did. Like, it sucks because it's a good movie, and it sucks that it didn't get a theatrical, like a proper theatrical release.
Yeah.
It might have. I think it had some. Maybe in LA they showed it or something like that.
Yeah.
And like you said, we were talking off air that it did go into theaters in 2022. But I don't know how long. I don't know if it was just like a special thing that they did.
Right. That much later, then yeah, I would imagine that's like a special thing of, oh, now it's more popular. Let's show it in theaters for
Yeah.
Halloween or something.
Right.
And it's certainly gained popularity since.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Now, if you've ever gone to a Spirit Halloween in the past few years, you'll see that actually, if you're watching the YouTube version, you see a little Sam decoration here on the table. And actually, this mug is also from Spirit, now that I think about it.
Oh, so cute.
And there's so much Sam merch now.
Yeah, there
at
really
Spirit
is.
Halloween especially.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a couple things about this movie
Okay.
that I'm gonna mention to you that you already know.
That little giggle.
This is not a full hot take. It's
It's like a warm take.
a warm take.
Okay.
I enjoy the movie. I actually love it. I really did love it.
Yeah.
There's so much hype around Sam,
Okay.
and I didn't really understand why he had so much hype. So I rewatched it, like I said last year for Halloween. And I was still like, okay, like he's kind of like, it's neat,
Yeah.
you know, especially when he takes his bag off. He's neat. But I feel like people go absolutely crazy for him, and I just don't get it.
Okay.
He is cute.
Yeah. He is very cute. It's funny you say that because as I was watching this back, I was thinking to myself, they were genius for including Sam because they're, like you mentioned in the IMDb description, 5 different stories, right? It is an anthology. They're all going to come together. Sam is like the one constant that kind of appears through all these stories. And if they didn't include Sam, he's like the gimmick. If they didn't include him, they would have no merchandising,
I agree.
right?
Yeah.
Because what would they put in stores? So I think about the merchandising now. I don't know if that's what they were thinking when they did it, but I just think about how that was the marketing. That's that little guy and his gimmicks of like his lollipop and his candy bar box cutter.
Yeah.
Like,
He does appeal to children, which I know that sounds bizarre.
yeah.
But he does.
Yeah.
He's like cute, and he kills people with chocolate bars and lollipops. So
Right.
I definitely see that. And it's funny that you mention how his relevance, because this whole anthology, this whole movie is based off of like a short that Michael Daughtry, I think is how you pronounce his name, Michael Daughtry, like Sam was his a concept that he came up with. I want to say in film school. It was like his final project in film school, and he did, I think it was an animation of
Okay.
Sam. And I have it here in my notes. It was called, oh, here we go. It was entitled Season's Greetings, and it features the character Sam being stalked by a stranger on Halloween night.
So Sam was the one being stalked.
That's what I have in my notes.
Interesting.
I don't know. If I'm wrong, correct me. I'm not an expert on Trick or Treat, but I listened to a really fun episode of Postmortem, and Mike Daughtry was on it, and he really goes in depth about the history of Trick or Treat and his love for Halloween. It's like hearing him talk about Halloween and hearing him talk about this movie and Sam, and it did give me like such an appreciation for it.
That makes so much sense because that's one of the things I love about this movie is that feel of its Halloween night.
No, for real.
It's conveyed so well. You did such a great job.
No, you're so right. It captures the feel of Halloween. It's he just does such a fantastic job, and it's so obvious that he loves Halloween.
Yeah. I also saw in your fun facts that they had difficulty getting this released by WB because the studio's main focus at the time was Harry Potter.
Yes.
And all, other fantasy movies.
Yes. Isn't that wild?
So I wonder if that also affected the release and whether it went to theaters and all
Sure.
that fun stuff.
Yeah. And not only that, when he came up with this idea and wrote the script and everything, anthologies were like dead. Like anthologies were like, there was no studio that was going to get behind an anthology.
Yeah.
Despite that, he got some really big heavy hitter directors on board. I want to say, what was it? Wes Craven, Toby Hooper, and John Carpenter all signed on to direct it, and they still couldn't get the funding, and no studio would back it.
So did they end up having a hand in it? No.
They did not.
They were willing though.
They were willing.
Oh.
Yes. And it was just at the time. It's funny because there are like cycles, right? There are
Yeah.
cycles to everything. At the time, anthologies were not in.
Yeah.
Which it's just like, it's so funny how things work out because it did end up, it came to life and it's a great movie and it got a huge cult following. And so it all worked out, thankfully.
Yeah.
But hearing that, it could have never come to be. Like, what if it just never happened?
Yeah.
That would be such a bummer.
Huge bummer. And
Yeah.
there'd be no Sam.
There'd be no Sam. He's growing on me.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I don't hate the guy. I think he's cute. But the more we talk about it, the more I understand why he's so beloved.
Yeah. He is
Especially
cute.
when you said the marketing and the gimmick.
The marketing.
I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, you're on point with that.
He's the gimmick. You gotta have a gimmick.
Gotta have a little hook, right?
So
Very
let's
true.
get into the movie.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so obviously we've already talked about it. It does take place on Halloween.
Right.
And we are introduced to, well, actually, first of all, before I even get into like the people, I really enjoyed that opening scene where they're discussing like the safety of like checking your candy.
Yes.
And it looked very like old school, like kind of commercials and stuff.
Yep.
I really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of cool. And it plays into the actual movie, which I think is
Yes.
great. It's relevant, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's Halloween, and we're introduced to a couple. Their names are Emma and Henry. Emma is dressed as like a robot,
Like a cardboard robot.
and I love it.
Yeah.
I love the DIY feel to it.
She definitely seems like she does not enjoy Halloween.
Oh, I think she hates it.
Yeah.
I mean, Henry seems like he loves Halloween. He's all about it. Emma, not so much. She hates it so much that when they get home, she's like, we need to blow the candle out in this jack-o'-lantern. And Henry's like, I don't think you should do that. Like, there's like a rule. You're breaking the rules if you do that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't give a shit. And she blows it out and then proceeds to tell him that they need to take all of the Halloween decorations down that night.
On Halloween night.
I've never heard of that.
No.
She says my mother's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Does she not know what Halloween is?
Right.
Like, is she going to be that offended by the fact that there are like ghosts in the front yard?
Yeah,
It
and
seems normal to me.
Why would you want to be outside at night taking down your decorations?
And she even says she's lit.
yeah.
She does. She's like,
Yeah.
we're lit. We need, and then she's very adamant about this. And then he's like, all right, but if we're going to, he's kind of like, we're going to do that. Let's do this. And she's like hesitant. And then she goes, okay, pull the tape out.
Go upstairs and put on the tape. Something like that.
Okay. When she said that, I was like, is that what I think it is? Like I was, you know what I mean?
Is
Like
that sexual?
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
are they talking about sex?
Sure were.
They definitely were. Yes.
It's also really important to note that before she starts tearing down the Halloween decorations, which she's about to, she does stomp out that jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, she steps on it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I don't remember her stepping on it.
Or she blows it out.
She
Maybe-
blows-
Now I'm second guessing.
She blows it out. I don't remember her stomping on
For
it.
some reason, I thought she stomped on it. Maybe in my mind, I'm
Because you're
exaggerating.
feeling like the rage through the TV.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating how much she hates Halloween. Either way, she puts out the jack-o'-lantern, okay, which is what Henry told her she's not supposed to do.
Right. And I want to just give you a little tiny bit of background on jack-o'-lanterns really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Just so we have an idea of why this could be a breaking of the rules. Okay.
Okay.
So what I found was the history of jack-o'-lanterns in... Did I say jack-o'-lanterns? Jack-o'-lanterns in Irish folklore.
Okay.
Okay. So number one, the purpose of the jack-o'-lantern was to protect homes from bad spirits. It was meant to scare evil entities away,
Interesting.
which one of the characters does say something like that later in the film.
But I really didn't think that came from any place of truth. That's very interesting.
It's interesting. It gets even more interesting, okay? The light from the jack-o'-lantern would guide souls back to the underworld, preventing them from living in this world.
Oh.
Kind of interesting.
That really plays into the movie.
It sure does. And now the last one, which I thought this whole story is crazy. I'm gonna say it as quickly as I can, okay? So the jack-o'-lantern could also be a reminder of what happened to Jack Stingy. Stingy. Stingy?
Sure.
Sure. Jack was a trickster and a deceitful guy. One night, Jack trapped the devil. And in exchange for his release, he made the devil promise him not to take his soul when he died. When Jack's time on earth came to an end, the devil did not take him to hell. However, he was not allowed into heaven either. They didn't want a trickster and a deceitful and anyone working with the devil, I guess. Jack was then left with nowhere to go except to wander the earth forever. The devil decided to help Jack out a bit. Why? Who knows? He gave him a burning ember to light his way through the night. Jack carved a turnip and placed the ember inside, creating the first ever jack-o'-lantern.
Wow. You know what? I have heard of turnips being used as jack-o'-lanterns, different vegetables being used as jack-o'-lanterns back in the day.
Isn't that such a neat story?
That's really interesting.
I will link in the show notes where I gathered this information from.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it helped me get a better grasp on the importance of the jack-o'-lantern and how it plays into this movie.
I love that you looked into that.
Had to do it. Oh, and it's also important to note that Sam is across the street witnessing Emma blow out the candle. He's watching them
Yes.
from across the street.
Sam watches a lot of people.
He sure does.
On Halloween.
Yeah, he's like the police. He's like the Halloween police.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
So Emma starts dismantling all of these like scarecrow ghosts in her yard. She's taking down the sheets. She's taking everything down. Also, there are so many decorations on her front lawn. I'm thinking Henry must really love Halloween because with how much she seems to hate it, how are there that many decorations out? And you're going to take all of that down tonight?
While you're hammered.
It's so much.
It seems very excessive. I mean, I just wonder, she must have like a really uptight mother.
Did I just rub my horn off my head?
Turn and look at me. Nope.
Okay, I just scratched my eyebrow. If you're listening and not watching the YouTube video, I have like these makeup horns on my head. You know, just trying to be festive.
We love that.
And I thought I just wiped it off.
No, you're
Anyway.
good. You're
okay, good. Moving on.
She's taking all the decorations down. We cut to Henry, who's in the bedroom, and he puts in a video into the VCR, and it says Nature Special,
Yes.
AKA pornography.
Yes.
I love that it was called Nature Special, which makes me wonder if they have kids. I guess not, but it seems weird that they have to kayfabe their porn. Anyway, to each their own.
So Emma is taking down all these ghosts, and then at some point something jumps at her from underneath the sheet, but the sheet stays on it, and it kind of like drags her underneath the sheet.
Okay, but wait.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say there's a really good fake out moment before this happens where she's looking across the street and she sees a guy in a mask and he's like staring at her.
I literally wrote down someone in a Jabberwocky's costume is staring at her from across the street.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, he's staring at her, she's staring at him, and there's that moment of like, oh, is he going to be a big bad? And a car comes by and picks him up. He's just a regular dude. And I thought it was so funny because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, this guy is probably like, why is this chick staring at me? Well, okay, then I'm going to stare back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or who knows if he even was staring because he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, like maybe he was staring off into space, but I just thought the concept of him looking at her going like, what is this bitch looking at?
Yeah.
Like, why are you fucking staring at me?
Why is she taking all of her Halloween decorations down?
No, for real. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, hey, this is a bit excessive.
So it's a good fake out moment, but she is creeped out.
Yeah.
And this is where she continues to take down the ghost. Something jumps at her, drags her underneath the sheet. I thought it was a really cool shot. So she kind of like stumbles. She's underneath the sheet. They stumble into like the sidewalk. These trick-or-treaters approach. And all you see is like blood spatter.
Yeah.
Because Sam is underneath the sheet and he's using what we will see is his lollipop that has a bite out of it and makes it sharp. And he's using it to presumably slit her throat.
Yeah.
And you just see a blood spatter on the sheet. So that's all the kids see. And
It's
they
cool.
obviously scream and run away.
Yeah, it's a cool visual. I mean, Sam must really, really love Halloween because not only did he kill her for taking down the decorations, he put those decorations right back up.
He sure did, but
Real
a little
quick.
differently.
Real quick. Yeah.
And that's where we see Henry upstairs and we see what the video actually is, the videotape that he was watching. And he's kind of like passed out,
Yeah.
you know, for a second. As you do, you know, you put on some porn and just fall asleep.
Sure. To each their own, man.
Well, he was waiting for her for a while. And Henry goes down to check on Emma.
Because he hears screaming and then
Yeah.
he can't decipher if it's the girls moaning in the porno or if it's something happening outside. And
Yeah.
then he pieces it together. He goes, well, you know what? Emma's been down there for a really long time.
Yeah. So Henry goes outside and he's looking around and there are some limbs hanging in front of him, which we know are Emma's limbs because there's fresh blood
I love
coming
how
down.
I didn't know. I
Oh,
honestly,
you didn't realize
no,
that?
I did not realize it at all.
It was only confirmed really because there was fresh blood dripping down from the limbs and they kind of focused on it for a second. So I'm thinking, okay, those weren't there before. You don't remember that you didn't have like severed arms and legs hanging, like whatever. He's looking for Emma. He's not paying attention. He's maybe still a little lit, a little aroused from his,
Yeah.
tape viewing. And he goes and pulls, I don't remember why he's drawn to this specific one. I don't know if there was something there that drew him or if he just happened to go to this scarecrow ghost.
Can't remember.
Okay, so he ends up pulling the sheet off of one of the ghosts. And underneath, Sam has replaced the ghost's scarecrow head with Emma's head. And it has his lollipop in the mouth.
Yeah, her mouth is stretched.
Yeah,
It is like really, because it's a big ass lollipop.
it is. It's
Yeah,
really big.
It's big, yeah.
And then they go into the opening credits, which is a cool like comic book scene.
I love that it's a comic book.
Yeah.
It's so, so cool. I love that. I thought that was, and remember we were talking about in another episode how, I think it was Night of the Demons, how we don't get those cool opening scenes very often anymore.
Yeah.
That it usually just jumps right into the movie. And having a strong opener, I think it just sets the stage.
Yeah.
Even if the movie's garbage, if you got a strong open, man, I'm in.
And I also don't mind that opening scene before the credits either because
No.
I think that kind of does, it's like the best of both worlds. So you get that cool opening credits scene, but then also you've already captured their attention by
Yeah.
starting hot essentially.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
You know what? And honestly, like when you think about some great ass movies, like the original Halloween, the opening is so iconic. Like it is a huge part of the movie.
Yeah.
I love good opening scenes. Okay.
So as the movie starts, we now see 4 women who are trying on Halloween costumes.
Yes, we do.
We learn who Lori is right off the bat by name. The other girls, it takes a minute to find their names. But when I was writing my notes, I was so confused because we're also going to be covering, I mean, I think we can say it, right?
Sure.
We're also going to be covering next Halloween H2O.
Which, guys, it's one of my favorite. I say this about every single movie we cover, but honestly, I love the Halloween franchise. And next to the first one and the second one, H2O is my favorite. I
You're
love
like, and the
H2O.
third one? Yeah.
I do love the third one.
Writing my notes, I know. Writing my notes, I was confused. I'm like, wait, was her name Lori? Because
Lori.
I was just writing notes about Lori, and I saw in your fun facts that was a nod to Laurie Strode from Halloween.
Yeah,
So that was pretty cool.
I love that.
Confusing for my notes, but pretty cool.
I love it.
But all the girls are trying on Halloween costumes, and they're trying to kind of coax Lori into coming out. Lori
Yeah.
doesn't want to come out. She's a little hesitant. And when she finally does, we see that she is dressed as a Little Red Riding Hood.
And can I also say that the other girls, Maria, Janet, and Danielle, those are
Yes.
their names, their costumes are so cute.
They all look so cute.
Like-
so Danielle is Cinderella.
Yep.
Maria is Snow White. And Janet is Little Bo Peep.
They look fantastic.
They look so cute, but
I totally got the names wrong. In my notes, I have Janet is Snow White and Maria is Bo Peep. I might have mixed that up.
maybe I mixed it up.
Okay,
Oh,
either way,
shit.
they're like just stick with us, guys. They look super cute, all of them.
Yeah, I might have wrote it backwards. It's
I
okay.
might have wrote them backwards.
Look, we're covering a lot of movies in bulk right now.
maybe we both wrote them backwards.
One of us has to be correct.
Hang with us, guys. Any hoogly boos. Listen, they look so cute. I love those costumes. I actually want those costumes, especially Snow White and Cinderella. And I'm not even a Disney
Yeah.
princess person, but
Yeah.
they look so cute.
Either way, for sure, Danielle is Cinderella. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And we will find out that Danielle is Laurie's sister.
Right. Yes. Oh, and also there's this little kid like creeping on them.
Oh, yeah.
He's like peeking through the crack, and then the mom gets mad at them.
Yeah.
She's like, "There are little kids out here." It's like, yeah, your kid's a pervert.
I think she was mad that they were swearing or
Like,
something.
get over
But it's like,
it.
also, can you watch your kid? Because he's looking at them change.
Have you ever heard of earmuffs?
Have you ever heard of a child leash? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So,
We love kids. Okay.
Lori is hesitant because she thinks she looks like she's 5 years old. She doesn't like the costume.
And it's so cute.
I think it's really cute,
I love her costume.
but she doesn't like it.
She's not into it.
And Danielle is being very forward with the cashier.
I know. I couldn't tell if she was being like
Oh, like she's being a mean girl?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I couldn't read the
I
scene.
mean, in a way, she was.
Right. But at the time, when it's true, like she actually does want him to come, I was like, oh,
Oh, she really is inviting him.
she's really inviting him to the party, and
Yeah.
he's so surprised about it. He's got little tiny elf ears.
Yeah, she's okay. So they're all going
Is he
to
supposed to be Peter Pan?
You know what? I don't know. I thought he was just an elf.
Yeah, he's probably just an
But
elf.
maybe he is Peter Pan. But they're all going to a party, and she's like, "Hey, you want to meet me at Sheep's Meadow in 45?" So she's being like a little salacious about it.
Yeah, pretty forward.
And it's being hinted at here that Lori is a little nervous. She's being hesitant overall, not just about the costume. She's like, I want my first time to be special. So they're trying to like persuade her to find a date.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess there's no Tinder at this point, eh?
No, they have to go around and,
Old school.
yeah, talk to cashiers with elf ears.
Oh, can I also say we're in Warren Valley, Ohio?
Oh, okay.
I heard them say that at some point, and I was like,
Oh.
okay, we're in Ohio.
Interesting.
Got it. Yep.
I didn't even catch that.
Well, why not? At least we know where we are.
Yes. It's also important to note that because this is an anthology, this story is going to jump around a lot. So,
Yes.
like, my notes kind of go, like, scene to a different scene to a different scene because they are showing you what is happening with every story, and the timeline also kind of swaps back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going earlier in the night, sometimes you're going later. So, you really do have to pay attention to this movie.
For sure. But if you watch it straight to the end, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yes.
You just have to watch to the end.
Yeah, it's not hard
Yeah.
to follow. It's just
We just jump a lot. We jump around a lot. And if you're listening to this on audio, it's like we're going to try to make it as clear as possible.
Yeah.
It's basically, it's a bunch of different stories interwoven into one main story.
yes, and I love that.
Me too. I love it
It makes
too.
me so happy. It's so satisfying that
Yeah.
they all come together.
Yes, agreed.
So we're jumping. So we jump to a scene where we see the kid from, and I wish I wrote this actor's name down, but it's the kid from Bad Santa, and I love him. He is so adorable to me, even though in this movie he's maybe not so adorable. He's a little turd.
Oh, he's the worst. I can't stand him, honestly. He's
like-
like dragging his candy bag, right? Is that him or Sam?
Yeah, I don't know if it's him.
Oh, okay, because Sam is like dragging
Yeah.
a pillowcase, right?
Sam does drag. Yeah.
Okay. I thought when I first watched it, I thought it was this little just dragging his
Yeah.
candy.
I mean, he might have been, but either way, he approaches his house that has a sign on the porch that says, take only one piece of candy, which, he took the whole thing.
Of course he
Or,
did.
really, he's in the process of taking the whole thing.
Yeah.
When a man walks up behind him and is like, that can't be good for your diabetes, Charlie.
Can I tell you? Which I think is important because it establishes that they know each other.
Yeah, or at least he knows the kid.
Yes.
If he's like, I don't know, stalking him or something.
And even Charlie doesn't seem to like.
Yeah.
Charlie seems like he's been busted.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem like he doesn't know him.
Yeah.
And also in my notes, I wrote, this guy is clearly a door-to-door salesman.
Before you find out what he is, that's true. I totally get those vibes from him.
Right? With
yeah.
his like tie and.
And so he makes Charlie sit down and carve pumpkins with him on the porch.
Yeah. And he's kind of like not really angry that Charlie is eating the candy,
No.
but he's being passive aggressive in the way that he's handling the knife
Yes.
while he's carving the pumpkin.
Yes.
And he talks about, I think he hands him a chocolate bar, doesn't he?
He hands him some candy. They're eating candy for sure.
Yeah.
And he also starts kind of explaining more of the lore to Charlie. So he's saying, Halloween is the one night that the dead and all sorts of other things can roam free and pay us a visit. All these traditions, the costumes, the jack-o'-lanterns, they were all started to protect us, which goes into the jack-o'-lantern lore you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know he was being serious when he was telling those stories.
Yeah,
That
I
it
didn't
wasn't
either.
more than just for the movie.
Yeah.
So Charlie, who has now eaten a piece of candy, starts coughing and choking. And then Steven says, another very important tradition, always check your candy.
Check your candy, kids.
No, for real, check your candy if you're going trick-or-treating.
Yeah. I mean, let's not scare them, but
But no, you should. You have
Yeah.
to. You need to know.
at least make sure they're like closed.
Sealed.
Sealed.
Did you ever get opened things or like homemade things in your trick-or-treat bag?
I remember getting homemade a couple of times. I got homemade things.
From strangers?
Yeah,
Like,
But it was on like my street, so we knew everyone on
You
the
knew
street.
them.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that's different.
You know what the best was though? When you would get those little tiny like Halloween like mini bags, and then you would open up the bag and there would be like, I remember sometimes there would be like an eraser and a pencil and some chocolate, and I
Yeah.
would get so excited for those.
Like a little party favor bag.
yeah.
Yeah.
As a kid, man, that was like you just didn't know it was in there.
Those and the king size candy bars.
I mean, I told you this before. Me and Jesse were the people on the block
Yeah.
that were handing out full size candy bars.
As long as you're not handing out pennies.
Yeah, no.
Just
I don't
save
even
them.
think there are pennies in the US anymore. Or is that Canada? Maybe it's Canada. I don't think there's pennies in Canada anymore.
I think I do remember hearing that. Well, anyway.
Anywho's.
So Charlie now starts projectile vomiting and just keels over in Steven's lap. And Steven, in the process, is just like pulling out a lollipop and eating it.
Oh, he is so nonchalant about this.
Like he's done it before or something. That's certainly what it seems like.
It sure does.
And then he starts dragging Charlie into his house with the lollipop in his mouth. And then he gets trick-or-treaters. So he's like halfway in the door and he hears trick-or-treat and he's all flustered.
Yeah.
And here we find out what his actual profession is because the kids call him Principal Wilkins.
That's right.
He's a principal.
I mean,
Also principal vibes. Salesman, principal.
I agree with you. And as the movie progresses, like you really get to know this person and his need for power.
Yeah. And he might be my least favorite character in this movie. Not like poorly written, least meaning I want him to die.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
In a fictional sense, of course.
Of course, of course. However, great character.
Yeah.
He's a great character. Yeah.
Because you want to hate him.
And he is funny too.
Yeah.
Like the way that he handles situations, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So the kids leave, and behind them is one more trick-or-treater. And it's Sam.
Oh, Sam.
He just takes a piece of candy and leaves.
It is so cute though. It really is
He
cute.
really is adorable. And he looks like he's supposed to be a child. He also sounds, whenever he does make noises in the movie, he does sound like he's supposed to be a child.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's a young pumpkin man.
I was gonna say like he could be a little demon. I don't know, but he sounds like a young pumpkin man.
I don't know. I thought he was the spirit of Halloween. I thought that's what he was in
Okay.
in form.
He is Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's all over the store, so maybe. Anyway.
I'm over here like
No, I don't know. He comes across as he is the spirit of this holiday.
yeah.
Because he seems to be policing.
He is definitely the Halloween police, if nothing else.
Oh man, he's walking around with that sack, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I got eyes on all of you."
Legit.
Yeah.
So now we jump to Lori, who is gonna meet the other girls at the party later. She's telling them, "Go ahead, I'm gonna meet you later." And
I'm gonna
they're-
go find my man.
Yes,
essentially.
don't worry. I'm gonna find a date, and they're like, "Are you sure?" Yes. She's like, "Please get out of my face."
Yeah.
Because Danielle and the other girls have hit on like these people that were in a news van.
Yeah, basically they're like, I think they are. They're
Yeah.
they're like hauling equipment in and out of this news van.
Yeah.
And they're like, boom, dates.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the guys are obviously into it, so they jump in the van and they're gonna give him a ride to the party. And Lori's like, "I'm good. Okay, I'm on my own." Then we're gonna jump back to Steven, who is now burying Charlie.
I mean, he dug that hole. That just he has to have already had that hole ready to go or something.
I would imagine.
Like maybe he well, yeah, I guess he did plot to harm at least someone.
At least someone, yeah.
So
Yeah, this definitely seemed premeditated, so I would say he already had that dug.
he had it dug up
Or
already.
he's just done this so many times. He's just a pro at it. I don't know.
He knows how to dig a perfectly large grave.
Rectangle. He would have to
body.
have amazing upper body strength. Like, we don't know. He's wearing like that button up principal shirt.
I bet you he's ripped.
he
under
might
that.
be ripped under there
Oh
for real.
man.
Not though, not at all. So I love this part so much. So he's in the middle of burying Charlie in the backyard, and his son from the second story window, Billy, all of a sudden is like, "Daddy, I'm back from trick or treating!" Like so loud,
Like insanely loud.
it's so funny, and obviously he's flustered. He's like, "Shh, be quiet, Billy."
Yeah, he's like, kayfabe.
"Shut the hell up, Billy." And Billy's like, "Why?" I thought that was so funny.
It is. It's very comical. It's very over the top.
And so Billy eventually leaves after the dad's like, please shut the hell up. And the neighbor's dog starts barking at Steven. And for some reason, Steven's solution to this is to take the shovel and sever a finger or some type of, I'm assuming finger or toe, from Charlie's body and toss it to the dog.
Yeah.
Which, that drove me crazy.
Why?
Because why would you put evidence out into the open like that?
I don't think he's like living with a full deck upstairs. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
Like I think in the moment he's just like,
I have to shut up this dog.
I gotta shut this dog up. This kid won't need the finger, and this dog's gonna eat it anyways.
Maybe, yeah, he's thinking he's gonna eat it.
Now, do I think it's stupid? Absolutely.
Yes, I'm like, you think that now someone's gonna find that in the backyard and now you're going to prison. Did you ever watch Santa Clarita Diet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to give spoilers from that.
I love that
but
show. It was fun.
A finger comes into play there, so that's all I could think about.
Oh, yes. Living in the real world for sure.
yeah.
We're not, though.
Yeah, we're not gonna make it past this night in this movie, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, he tosses tosses the dog. He
See you
the
later,
dog.
Spite.
No, he tosses presumably a finger to the dog. So Spike, yes, his name is Spike.
It's Spite with a T.
Oh, it is.
It is, yeah. I
Oh.
thought it was Spike as well until I Googled it, and his name
Okay.
is Spite.
You know what? That makes way more sense.
Isn't that cute?
It is kind of cute. I wrote down Spike in all my notes.
No, that's okay. I did at first too. Also, can I say, really worried about the dog. Not gonna lie to you. As soon as
Yeah.
the dog came in on screen, I went,
Here we go.
something's gonna happen to this dog.
Yeah. So now the neighbor comes out. He's yelling at Spite. Now I know his name is Spite. Mm-hmm. And they have an exchange. He has a little exchange with the neighbor, and you can tell that they don't really like each other. The neighbor seems like he's just kind of like an bitter old man.
Yep.
And we already know that Steven is a psychopath.
Mr. Kriegs, I believe is his name.
Mr. Krieg.
Mr.
Yeah.
Krieg.
And he yells something at the end. Keep your kid out of my yard.
He's a crotchety old dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steven goes back into the house, and I noticed here, and I said to you, I was like, is Billy supposed to be dressed as Chucky? Because he is wearing a striped shirt and he's wearing overalls. He also has like red curly hair. So I was thinking, oh, he could have been Chucky for Halloween. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he might have been. There was a line there when you know what we didn't even talk about, which I think is so funny, is that Charlie's not dead. Charlie is alive in the grave, and as all of this commotion is happening with Billy yelling out the window, at one point he's yelling at his dad, and his dad goes, "Well, we'll make caramel apples." I don't know why
Yeah.
that line just killed me, because like there's
Yeah.
no way they're making caramel. That's like something
No.
you say to just shut someone up.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. And then as Mr. Krieg is like yelling and, you know, the dog's barking, Charlie's still alive. And Steven is like stomping on him, and he grabs a shovel, and eventually he, you know, kills him with the shovel. But when you started saying this is my favorite scene, I thought that's why you loved it so much, because it reminded me of the silliness in like Dolls with Rosemary.
Oh, okay.
Like that kind of like playful, I mean, I shouldn't say that because he's killing a child, but it was comical in the context of the scene. It was very funny.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So Steven tells Billy to go to the basement, and they're both heading down there.
And it seems like Steven has had enough of Billy.
Oh, yeah.
He is so irritated by this child.
He can't stand his son. Mm-hmm. And Billy is like, you know, Dad, you gotta come help me though with the whatever. They were gonna carve jack-o'-lanterns or whatever.
Yeah.
You gotta help me with the eyes, you know? So Billy goes down in the basement, and Steven is pissed. Mm-hmm. Steven has a knife. Mm-hmm. And he finally he's standing over Billy, who's now in the basement looking at the jack-o'-lantern, and he raises it up over his head, and then they kind of pan the camera so you can't see Billy. And I'm like, oh boy.
Yep.
Here we go. And then he stabs down. He stabs something.
Uh-huh.
And then we learn that as it pans down, Billy is now talking. So it wasn't Billy. Billy's like, let's carve a scary face this time.
And so essentially they are making people masks, skin masks.
Sure are, because then you see that it is Charlie's severed head on the table. And he says again, don't forget to help me with the eyes.
It's a great scene. What a fun twist.
It was a really fun twist. So
Yeah.
Billy has been aware this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you asked me when we were rewatching, you were like, so Billy was aware this whole time. Why is he yelling out the window?
Yeah,
He
'cause
knows.
He's just like a stupid kid.
He's just a kid, though.
He's just, oh, I love how he's just a kid. I'm like, he's just a stupid kid.
He's just a stupid kid.
He's just a kid. He's really excited to carve up that face, man. He wants another skin mask.
Yeah. So we're following these trick-or-treaters through the neighborhood, and they get to a woman's house who's dressed as, like, I think a cat or something. We find out she is Mrs. Henderson,
Their teacher.
who was clearly having a sex party.
A full-on sex party.
She offers the kids a drink,
Sure does.
also does a creepy little sexual dance toward them.
I'm convinced she's on Molly.
Straight to jail, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Straight to jail.
I mean, she is on
she
something.
said she's on Molly. Probably. So, group of trick-or-treaters, we find out Macy.
Uh-huh. Oh, I hate her.
Macy is the worst. Charlie was not the worst. Macy is the worst.
Macy is such a mean girl.
These are like, they have to be middle schoolers, I would say.
Yeah, I'm going to say 13.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Macy, Schrader, Chip, and Sarah. They go to pick up another girl, Rhonda, at her house.
I love Rhonda.
Rhonda is the best. And
Okay. Before they like go knock on the door, they're
Yeah.
all standing at the yard. First of all, her yard is amazing.
oh yeah, all
like-
the decorations.
Oh, it looked so cool.
There's so many aesthetics in this movie that I want to recreate in for my own house.
Me too. I love it. I love it.
Your face.
Gross. But these kids go to Rhonda's house and they're all kind of standing there and they all start talking about Rhonda and just saying awful things about
The
her.
worst nickname for her that we will not repeat.
No, I can't.
And
I
they
can't.
clearly are not fond of her, but they're going to hang out with her for some reason.
Yeah, like you're already wondering, like, why do these? First of all, it's worth mentioning that these trick-or-treaters that we are following right now, we've kind of seen them, and they've been asking to borrow pumpkins. So they've been going to different houses, and when they went to Mrs. Henderson's house, they specifically asked her, "Can we borrow your jack-o'-lantern?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, I guess." So they've got like a cart of jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah.
So when they go to Rhonda's house, I believe she also brings a jack-o'-lantern, does she not?
I think so because I remember Schrader asked if that's the one that she carved
Right.
because she's very artistic.
She's artistic, and these kids are saying all these mean things about her, but then Schrader goes up and he knocks on her door, and he's very nice to her. Mm-hmm. And she's so cute. I mean, she pushes her little glasses up, and she's dressed like a witch.
Yeah.
It's such a great costume.
She's so sweet.
She's so sweet, and she knows a whole lot about the history of Halloween.
Yeah, so she's like giving them the whole lore on it and everything.
I would have loved to have been friends with Rhonda.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. So we jump now to a woman in an alley who is getting it, by the way,
They are making out.
with, I wrote Batman, question mark?
That's what I said. I literally wrote the exact same thing in my note.
The whole time, all my notes say Batman.
Vampire Batman is what I was calling him.
Vampire Batman.
Yeah, he's got a cape.
Yes.
He's got like a mask of Zorro. He's like Zorro meets Batman.
And she says Vampire Batman because at one point the girl who's making out with him realizes she's been bitten.
That's right. There's blood. She's noticing like blood, and she's like, "What is going on?"
Yeah. And
He
so
bit her.
He bit her, and then she runs into the street.
Yeah,
where
she runs into the parade,
There's a parade happening.
and the parade is awesome.
And you told me about the parade, that it's a real thing.
yeah, it's a real thing in Vancouver.
That's so cool.
I would love to go and be a part of a Halloween parade.
I would love that so much. I wonder if it is on actual Halloween or if it's just like, whatever weekend is close.
Like a lead up to
Yeah.
it. I don't know.
But either way,
Oh my God, one day we have to do it.
I'm so down.
That'd be I've never been to Vancouver.
Me neither.
But if we
Wait.
do-
Yes, I have. Oh. Me neither. I wrestled there. Never mind.
I haven't. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Definitely highly recommend. The thing is, I've been there once and I didn't get to explore too much.
I would love to go, but we got to bring Chels.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, and we have to bring Rosemary.
We have to bring Taya.
Oh my God, it will be oh my God, yes.
We have so many. Yeah.
We have to have a Slugs plus Taya reunion, and we should all go to the Halloween parade.
All the Canadians plus AK.
Could you imagine? Well, I mean, you're an honorary
People think
Canadian.
I'm Canadian sometimes anyway.
We love it. Okay, so yes, she runs into the parade, and she bumps into Emma,
Emma and Henry.
and she's asking for help.
Yes.
Nobody's helping her,
Nobody believes her.
which is also a fear of mine. When you're being chased and you run into people and you ask for help and they don't help you.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that scene in I Know What You Did Last Summer where Sarah Michelle Gellar is like running from the killer and you think she's going to be okay because there's like a parade happening and she's like running towards it, but obviously,
Yeah.
you know, she dies. But I that's what kind of reminded me of.
Totally. And I feel like we've seen that in a lot of movies we covered recently where it seems like help is so close.
And yet
like even
so
in
far.
Scream,
Yeah.
help is so close, but they can't hear you or they don't believe you in this case.
Great trope. We love
It
it.
also establishes here that this movie could be a little bit out of order as you're watching it.
I did not catch that at all until the very end. Right? I feel like I was writing notes watching it. Like
Yes.
you, right?
It does, yeah.
I did not piece that together, and at the very end, like you should have seen my face. It's even though I've already seen this movie, but whatever.
Yeah.
I literally at the end of the movie I went, whoa, oh, I did.
Yeah,
I totally
yeah.
did.
So Batman kills this woman
Mm-hmm.
and sits her against the wall in plain sight. She's just sitting against the wall, bleeding from the neck, but nobody seems to really do anything about it or notice because even if they do see her, they just think it's a costume.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. That is terrifying. I'm surprised there aren't more murders on Halloween, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's so scary.
I'm sorry.
I do love Halloween so much, and I love like how creepy Halloween is. It's like part of me really hopes that creepy, weird, like is true, like it because I believe it comes from like paganism.
Like the jack-o'-lantern lore, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, or just like like the history of Halloween and that like you know the dead can walk the earth and. I wish that
yeah.
was true. I don't think it is, but I think it goes back to paganism. I could be wrong.
A lot of cultures believe that and do different things to present offerings and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's different for different like cultures and stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And I love like TV shows and movies and stuff have done an interesting job of like playing with that idea. Mm-hmm. In Buffy, like I think it's like none of the vampires or the demons like kill anyone on Halloween. It's like their day off.
Oh.
I know, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
Okay, sorry, I digress.
That's fun.
That's what I do. I totally go off topic all the time.
That's what we do.
Sure do.
We're not just here to tell you. I mean, you could go read Wikipedia if you just wanted to know what happens in the movie.
Yeah,
right?
we're giving thoughts, we're giving hot takes. Here we are.
So we jump back to the kids, and the kids with Rhonda are approaching a creepy rock quarry. Mm-hmm. And Macy is telling them that they're here to pay their respects to the dead.
Yes, and Macy is such an asshole too in the scene. Like she's like trying to be so mysterious, like and trying to be so cool. Like Macy, you're not cool. You're a pick me,
She definitely is a pick-me.
not a girl's girl
And
at all.
Definitely a mean girl.
Oh, I mean, yes.
She's the meanest of the girls.
She's so mean and she keeps rolling her eyes at Rhonda. And it just makes me wonder, like, she must be deeply insecure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just.
She's like one-dimensional type of mean girl. Like that's all she is. There are no layers to Macy. She's
Not
just
really.
mean to everyone all the time.
She is such a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah. Rhonda, on the other hand, is adorable, as we've mentioned, very knowledgeable, seems very shy and quiet, and she just is like, oh, these people want to hang out with me. Yeah.
It literally broke
Yeah.
my heart. I was like, oh, Rhonda.
So Macy gives them the lore on why they're there and what happened at the rock quarry. Also a very sad scene.
This story, I almost cried watching it.
I believe it.
It's so sad. Should we tell the story?
Let's tell it.
Okay, so we're flashing back to, I don't know, so many years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's say 20 years ago, maybe
Sure.
15 years ago. Who knows? Anywho, there's this bus driver and we're on a school bus and there are kids chained to their seats and they're all wearing masks.
Yes.
I believe this is Halloween.
Yeah.
And we're being told that these children are stressing out their parents.
Yeah, like basically their families are ashamed of them.
Their families are ashamed of them. And to deal with that, they've hired or made an agreement with the bus driver that he will take them to the quarry and drive them off the cliff.
I want to know how much money they offered him for that. Because that's what a
He's the worst. And the parents, I think the parents are a million times even worse than him. And what's so sad is these kids are all like chained, and one of them realizes that the bus driver is driving in the wrong direction. He's not driving them home. And the one kid is saying over and over and over again, wrong way, wrong way, wrong way. And he's kind of rocking back and forth. He knows there's something wrong.
It's so sad how he says it too.
Like, honestly, my eyes were tearing up.
Yeah.
My heart was like being ripped out of my chest. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. And then the bus driver brings him to the edge of the quarry. And he gets up and he's checking the chains to make sure that these kids are strapped in.
And then giving them a piece of candy.
And handing them candy, which I think is meant to distract them.
Sure.
But he's really checking the chains.
Yeah.
But the one kid, oh God, it's so, so sad. The one kid is going home.
Yeah, he wants to go home.
He wants to go home. Oh my God, it's making me so sad. He's like, he wants to go home, and he starts getting free from the chains. The bus driver's not noticing this.
Yeah.
He's starting to break the chains. And as the bus driver is in the back of the bus, this kid breaks the chains and he runs to the front of the bus and he hops in the driver's seat and he starts driving the bus.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he's very small. He can't really see out the over top of the, what is this called?
The steering wheel. It's been a long 48
Why
hours
did I
for
do
us.
it? I did it like the guy from Blood Diner.
Like how people drive. Yeah. Like mime driving.
I'm driving.
Like who actually drives like this?
So, okay, good. I'm adding some like funniness to this god awful
Comedic
scene.
relief. Yeah.
But I just said funniness.
Funniness.
I'm adding funniness. Okay. So, obviously, the kid doesn't know they're on the edge of a cliff. He also doesn't know how to drive a car. He's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And he can't see over the steering wheel. And he drives the bus over the edge of the cliff
Yeah.
into the quarry.
So what was seemingly already planned, except now the bus driver was trapped in the bus too.
That's right. And the cherry on top of this whole horrible situation is the parents nor the town ever looked for the bus. Mm-hmm. That's how much the parents did not give a shit about their kids.
Yeah. And so at the end of that scene, we see that it looks like the bus driver actually survived, maybe.
Maybe.
And he's sort of like crawling out from the water
That's
where
right.
the bus landed.
Yep. Okay, so now we're back in present day.
Yes. So Macy says 8 victims, 8 jack-o'-lanterns. So that's why they were collecting the jack-o'-lanterns as an offering. Mm-hmm. They're leaving them by the side of the lake for that offering to those who have died. So here, they go to the edge of the quarry and they get in. I asked you, I was like, what is that? It's an outdoor elevator and it helps people get up the side of a mountain or something.
Yes,
right?
or like with miners, they'll take like a cage. Yes.
So that makes sense why they would have one here.
for sure, and it's locked. There is a lock on it.
It's locked and it still works.
It does. It still works. Yeah.
But according to Macy, it can only fit 3.
And it is pretty small. It's
I'll
a
give her
small
that.
cage.
I'll give her that.
Yeah.
And so
I'd be afraid of the weight in that, to be honest.
that's true. That is very true. But I would also be terrified to be left. So they leave Rhonda and Chip.
Yes.
They shut the door on them and they say, sorry, there's only room for 3. So they're left to wait while the other kids go down.
Right.
So now we're jumping to Lori. Lori is having trouble finding a date. She said she was going to find a date, but she hasn't found one yet. And her sister calls her. She's worried about her. Her sister and her friends are already at the party. And she's like, I found a guy for you. Just come here already. And we see in the background that Batman, Vampire Batman, is there. And he starts eyeing Lori.
They make eye contact. They both
Yes.
look at each other.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? When it was happening, I went, oh. Because I've seen this movie, obviously. So on a second rewatch, I went, oh. They know what each other are. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I thought it was like,
Yeah.
but it's not. But anyway.
It's not. It's fine. So now we're jumping back to Rhonda and Chip, who are now descending into the fog down this elevator cage. And as they're descending, they can hear the screams of the kids below.
And they also hear howling. And
Yes.
Rhonda says, werewolves. I love Rhonda, man. Rhonda knows what is up.
Rhonda, she knows.
She does.
She really does. And so they get out of the cage. They're walking around. They're looking for the other kids. And Rhonda's approaching the lake. And it almost looks like there's like ash falling. It's very foggy. It's very creepy and
It's
eerie.
super spooky. It's super spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, that they were both very scared to walk out, and actually Chip stays in the cage, and Rhonda hands him the jack-o'-lantern and says, "It'll keep you safe as long as you keep it lit."
Aw.
Which we know that is true.
She knows.
Rhonda knows. Rhonda knows all about the history of Halloween
Yeah.
and all of this spiritual, supernatural shit. So you're right. So they had heard all that screaming, so they're both really scared.
Yeah.
And Rhonda, being the badass that she is like, I'll go first.
Yeah.
And she does.
She does. And she approaches the side of the lake and she finds a half-submerged bus.
It's awesome.
It looks so good. I wrote that in my notes.
Me
It looks
too.
so cool.
It is such, oh my God, the visual is awesome.
Yes. So the idea also that this bus has just been chilling there for all these years is wild. But it could have been completely covered at one point. Maybe the water,
Yeah.
went down. That happens.
For sure.
But she also sees a floating mask, which looks like it could be one of the masks of the kids that we saw in that scene. And something reaches out of the water and grabs her leg.
This was so scary.
So creepy. Creatures come out. Now they're chasing her, multiple creatures.
There's the chains hanging off of them.
Yes.
Rhonda's
Chip.
running.
Chips on the ground, face is all red, intestines are being eaten. Rhonda drops her glasses.
Oh God, my heart just shattered.
Not the glasses.
No, Rhonda can't see. She's so scared. She's starting to cry. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
She eventually falls into like a puddle or something, and it looks like she gets knocked out. Mm-hmm. And when she comes to, we find out that it was the other kids playing a prank on her. Even Chip, who I actually was like, oh no, Chip. I was feeling so bad for him.
I know, and I kind of got the impression from that, I want to say, because he seemed younger than them, right?
He did.
Like, I felt like he was kind of like just going along with it.
It definitely seems like Macy was pressuring the other ones to do all of this.
Yes, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Rhonda's obviously so upset.
Oh, she's crying. And Schrader is such, at first he's like pretending to be nice to her, and now it seems like he actually is being nice to her, and he's like, it was just a prank.
They do seem like they're all regretting it now, except for Macy.
Except for Macy. Macy does not regret it. She actually is like rolling her eyes and
Yeah, she's annoyed that they're showing her empathy for sure.
sociopath.
She is.
She's a sociopath.
For sure she is. And Macy kicks over one of the lit jack-o'-lanterns. She
Sure
kicks it into the
does.
lake, actually.
Sure does.
Which, of course, puts it out. So now, all of a sudden, these creatures, except obviously it's not the kids, these creatures it's really the kids from the urban legend, we find out, come out of the lake and start chasing the other kids.
Yeah, because you start hearing like whispers and voices, and
Yeah.
and Macy's like, no, guys, like,
Yeah.
did you hear that? Like now, Macy, now you're scared.
Now she's worried.
And then the actual monsters come out.
Yeah, which I feel bad because they're the kids from the bus.
I know, but they go after kids that are assholes.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I truly believe that they wouldn't have killed Rhonda.
I wonder too.
I don't think they would
Yeah.
have, because continue. I'll explain the rest of why I
Yeah.
think that when you're finished with this.
Yeah, so the dead kids from the urban legend start dragging the other kids, like literally dragging them, like almost dragging them back to the lake, it seems. And Rhonda is in the cage, but she has the door shut. So the kids, like Macy and Schrader, reach the cage and they're like, let us in, let us in. And Rhonda's just sitting there.
Yep.
She's sitting down, like blank stare. And then she reaches, it almost looks like she maybe is gonna, I don't know, open the door. She presses the button to send herself up.
Sure does.
Like, bye.
Yep.
Which, can you blame her? So as she's up and she starts to walk away, she's just completely stone-faced, and you can hear the kids below being like ripped to shreds.
Oh yeah. Yep.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
So you said you were going to add something?
Yes. Rhonda gets out of the elevator. She's got her little wagon. And as the camera pans out, you see Sam. Mm-hmm. And Sam looks at Rhonda, and then he keeps walking.
Yep.
So I'm just convinced that Sam wouldn't do anything to Rhonda, because I think Rhonda has the spirit of Halloween in her.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know?
I mean, yeah, Sam acknowledged her and then was like, Let's go
Yeah.
our separate ways. So maybe the zombie kids below wouldn't have attacked her either.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I just think, I mean, I'm Team Rhonda all the way, and I think that she's such a good person. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem like Sam is going after people that aren't great people, except for maybe Emma and Henry, but who knows?
Yeah. Maybe he's just pissed that Emma didn't like Halloween, to be honest with you.
I really do think that's what it is.
Because they don't show him do anything to Henry, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I can't recall.
I'm pretty sure no.
Interesting.
He just finds Emma.
All
So don't hate on Halloween
Just don't be putting out those pumpkins.
or Sam will get you.
Don't do it.
So now we go back to Lori, who is walking alone in the woods, and she hears someone following her.
I love this. I love when she goes, what does she say? She says something like, I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't remember verbatim, but she calls them out.
Yeah, she does.
She's like, show yourself. I don't think she says that, but something along those
yeah,
lines.
she's like, come out. I'm not in the mood for this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Batman's there.
sure is.
I love this because from here we cut to the sister and the friends, and her sister's getting worried. She's like, "Ugh, Mom always said she was the runt of the litter."
That's a great line.
It is. And, it's kind of going back and forth between the sister and then Lori, and Batman bites Lori's neck. We see similar to the girl before, has her up against a tree, bites her neck. And then we go back to where the sister and the friends are, and Lori's body seemingly gets tossed into the party, like right into the middle of the woods is where they're partying. And obviously she's freaked out. You see the cloak that she was wearing, the Little Red Riding Hood cloak. And her sister goes and removes the hood, and it's Batman.
Sure is.
And we're like, wait, what? When I first watched this, I was so confused. But did you already know what was happening here?
No.
Okay, neither did I.
No, I thought no, not at all.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
but I don't think I was trying to figure it out. I was just like, I was there for the ride.
Yeah, I did not see this coming at all.
So Lori then walks in with a completely different attitude, by the way. She like strolls in, like,
Yeah, it's almost like Lori's almost like, I feel at this point like she knows that she's in the right spot. Like she doesn't have to worry about finding anyone anymore. She's at the party.
and now she's not as nervous or hesitant anymore.
That's right. She's not
Yeah.
nervous anymore. Yeah.
And her sister's like, what's going on? You're late. So you're like, oh, she's not saying what's going on. Why is this man's body being tossed into the woods? Mm-hmm. She's not even fazed about that. Mm-mm. She's like, why are you late?
I mean, isn't there a scene where the guy with the elf ears is like trying to like kiss up on Danielle, and Danielle's like, oh, can you just stop? Like she's just,
I think when she's on the phone with Lori earlier, yeah.
she's so uninterested in him.
Yeah.
She's just like, oh God.
Like, that's not what I invited you here for.
Right. And I did not pick up on the reason for that.
Right.
I just thought maybe she invited him so that there were lots of people there or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So then Snow White approaches Batman. We're just going to go with those names.
Sure.
And opens his mouth, like starts to pry his mouth open and removes fake fangs.
That I was not expecting.
And so I'm thinking, like, damn, how strong were those fangs? Because, like, he was biting people with them.
Yeah.
And they just ripped. It wasn't like they were permanently attached or anything. So I don't know. But
I'm guessing he carved those himself out of something.
he would.
I mean, who knows?
It might have been bone.
I was just going to say bone or someone else's teeth.
Oh, yeah, that's
Maybe
possible.
he like sanded. Ew. Anyway.
Ew. So removes the fake fangs and then his mask. It's Steven.
Like, of course, Steven, the principal, is in charge of like young kids, people that he can control, people
Yep.
that he has authority over because they're small and innocent and they can't,
Yeah.
you know. And then, of course, he's going after women
Yeah.
and biting them.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
What a complex.
I have a puppy down here in case you're not watching the video.
We're
but-
joined by Didymus. You want to let him jump up?
Come on. Do you want to come up here? No? Okay. So, Steven also now looks around and he realizes that there's a bunch of dead people lying around, seemingly men, around
Yes.
this party.
Yes.
And he's freaking out and he's like, what are you people? And Lori gets on top of him and you can hear Cinderella, Danielle, tell Lori, her sister, you're fine, just be yourself. And so all this time when Lori's been hesitant and talking about like I'm nervous, I want my first time to be special, she wasn't talking about like her first time in any type of like sexual encounter like it might seem. She was talking about her first time transforming into a werewolf.
And let me just say, this transformation scene was so cool. It reminded me of like The Howling.
Yeah.
They are literally stripping off their skin
Yeah.
like clothing.
This scene, it was so, the music that's playing in the background, all of the imagery, I wrote down, this scene is so hot.
Yeah, what is the song they're playing?
I think it's
Sweet Dreams.
Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson, yeah.
It's so perfect. At one point, Lori's kind of on top of him, and she's sort of sensually moving, and she just says, "It's my first time, so bear with me."
Yep.
Like, you know, he's getting ripped to shreds.
Yeah. And just the transformation into the werewolves looks so good. And that was the werewolves that we heard earlier that Rhonda knew were werewolves.
I love the tie-in.
Yeah.
And Rhonda knew. Of course Rhonda knew.
Of course Rhonda knew.
Yeah.
And then they also show here that Sam is watching.
Yes, Sam's everywhere.
He's the gimmick.
I love that Steven's a goner.
Oh, me too.
What a power hungry monster.
It was such a good swerve, though. I really did not see that coming.
No.
At all.
I thought, so that's why I was saying earlier when he makes eye contact with Lori, I thought it was like a mutual understanding of like, I'm a vampire and you're a werewolf and I know what you are and you know what I am.
Yeah.
Until he bites her. Then I was like, okay, that theory's out the window.
Yeah.
Because obviously on a second watch, I knew she was a werewolf.
Right.
But when I first saw this movie many moons ago,
Yeah.
I had no clue. I thought it was such a great twist.
Me too.
Yeah.
So now we go to earlier. It actually tells you on the screen earlier. Mm-hmm. And we see some trick-or-treaters approach an old, like, dilapidated house. There are no lights on this house, but for some reason the trick-or-treaters go up there and they get scared from what seems like a werewolf or something that comes running out of the darkness and chases them away. But really, it's just Steven's old neighbor that we saw earlier
Mr. Kriegs.
and his dog, Spite.
Yeah.
And Spite has, like, lights strapped to his head or something, so that's what they were seeing.
Yes, he's got like lights on him or something. He's cute. He's super
Lights-
cute.
Yeah, strapped to his head. And the old man is burning photos in the fireplace for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Now I get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I just, oh my God.
You just,
I'm
oh my God.
so embarrassed. I just pieced it together.
No, because if you have to pay such close attention, you'll miss it.
Yeah, I
You
think I
might-
was writing notes.
Probably. That's the hard
Yeah.
part. I feel like I have to watch these movies like 3 times.
We usually
minimum.
do. We
Yeah.
usually do over and over.
So he's burning old photos in the fireplace. He's watching infomercials, which I love. Set it and forget it. Do you remember that one? Did you write it
Dude,
down?
I wrote it in my notes. I also wrote, I'm sorry, I got way too excited about that, but I loved it because everyone has seen that infomercial.
Yeah, don't apologize.
It reminded me also of the Magic Bullet. Do you remember the Magic Bullet infomercial?
Yes.
I used to be able to quote the whole thing. Okay, I get really excited when there are like TV shows in movies or like movies
Yeah.
in movies. Okay, so the one he passes is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and House on Haunted Hill. And then the infamous infomercial, Set It and Forget It.
Yeah, which was like a rotisserie chicken something. I can't even tell you exactly what it was called.
I don't know exactly what it was, but it had like a stronghold on people, man.
And everyone knows the catchphrase.
It was like the George Foreman grill.
Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer infomercial. Do you remember that one?
I surely do. Yes.
I wanted one so bad.
Oh, man.
He really sold that bad boy.
No, same with Magic Bullet, dude.
Okay, so watching infomercials, eating the candy that the kids dropped, and then his house starts getting egged.
He deserves it. Come
He
on.
really does.
Yeah.
He really does. You come to find out.
I felt bad for Mr. Krieg at first.
At first.
I did, yeah.
So did I. Until like almost the literal end.
Me too.
So Spite is outside eating something, and then Mr. Krieg, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Goes outside, and then by the dialogue, you realize that we're watching the earlier interaction between him and Steven when Steven was burying Charlie's body.
Yes.
But from now Mr. Krieg's perspective.
That's right.
You're like, wait
so
a minute.
cool. So
Yeah.
neat. I love that they did that.
I loved it. I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard this dialogue. Yes. And the kid in his yard that he was yelling at Steven about when he said, keep your kid out of my yard, that wasn't his kid. That was Sam.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, I didn't catch it until I rewatched it.
Yeah, I didn't think about it too much the first time.
No.
And so he opens his front door again. You know, they go back inside after Spite uses the bathroom and maybe eats a finger or something. He goes outside his front door because he thinks he's getting pranked again. Like he hears a noise or whatever. Maybe they're still egging his house. And his lawn is covered in like dozens of jack-o'-lanterns.
It's so cool.
I want to do this to my house so bad.
I support that. I think you should.
It's just a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
I'm like, is there like a non-real pumpkin way that I can do it? I'm sure.
You hire like a jack-o'-lantern sculptor.
Oh my gosh. Or I would just do like the most basic carvings in a bunch of them.
Yeah, just like what are the triangle eyeballs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. But even then, imagine doing like 50 of those.
No.
Your hand would hurt. No, I won't imagine it.
No, that's really hard.
My hand would hurt so bad. But anyway, now he hears someone inside his house. So he starts walking around with a shotgun, which, understandable.
Understandable. He hears like pitter-pattering.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he goes into his room, presumably his room, and he sees something is like wiggling underneath the sheet in his bed. And he moves the sheet, and it's like, I wasn't clear here on what it was. It looked like a robot hand
Yeah.
that was like wiggling.
But
and
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have we lost Spite at this point? I'm pretty sure we have, right?
I don't know.
Because there, at some point during all of this, I mean, it doesn't really, it's not like it's like
Yeah.
a deal breaker with the movie.
Yeah.
But at some point, Spite is like barking, and we see Sam run from one end of the hallway to the other end of the hallway upstairs, and Spite goes after him, and he chases him in, and you hear the dog eventually cry out.
Okay.
And I can't recall if this is before or after that.
I can't remember exactly when that happens.
But at
either.
some point it does.
It happens in the house at some point.
It does. So warning if you're an animal lover.
Yes.
You don't see it though, thank God.
Yes. So you see some hand wiggling in his bed. It's a distraction.
Yeah.
So there's a jack-o'-lantern now in the room. It erupts in this gigantic flame, and it shows that there's writing all over the wall in red in
Yeah.
this room. And at this time, while Mr. Krieg is distracted, Sam comes up and he slices his Achilles.
Yeah, very reminiscent of Pet Sematary.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Gross.
Yeah.
Some people really hate when that I mean, not that I love when that happens, but some people, that's like the thing that happens in movies that really bothers them, that they can't watch.
That makes sense. That's like for me it's fingernails and teeth.
And eyeballs. Like
I don't-
like a needle through the eyeball.
I don't know, eyeballs not so much, but teeth. Oh my God.
I can't wait to watch back the face I just made. Because I don't know what the hell I just did with my face. Sam now has a candy bar. So in addition to his lollipop that he likes to use, he also has a candy bar that is a box cutter.
Yeah, which is so cool.
It's very gimmicky.
It's gimmicky.
It's marketing, baby.
We love it. I
I
love
love
it.
a gimmick. So Mr. Krieg now, he falls down the stairs on a bunch of candy and glass. I'm like, they are really going with the theme here.
Okay, when that happened, because at this point I didn't know. I liked Mr. Craig, but I felt bad for him, and I wrote in my notes like, "Oh my God, this poor guy's got glass all in his hands."
This poor guy.
Because I didn't realize, my theory at first, well, not my theory, but the way I thought about it was this is just some crotchety old man who is very lonely, and
Yeah.
he has a dog, maybe like, he's lost his family,
Yeah.
and he's just like a lonely guy.
Sure, you have no reason to think otherwise.
Right, that's what I thought. And I was like, hey, Sam, you're being a bit excessive here.
Yeah. Why are you going in on this man so hard?
Like, I get it, he doesn't like Halloween, but is there another reason for this?
right. And I heard
There
down-
is.
there is. Sam is reverse Home Aloneing this old man with a Halloween theme because there are booby traps around this house galore, and it's all a Halloween gimmick.
That is so accurate. I didn't even look at it that way. That is so accurate.
So they get into a fight here. A fight ensues. And, they're like brawling basically.
Yeah.
So earlier in the movie, we see that the old man is like banging on his window trying to get Steven's attention, and Steven kind of dismisses him. Now we see why.
Oh, yeah. And like Steven, it's funny because it's very clear that this man needs help. And Steven just looks at him and is just like, I don't give a die for all I care.
Of course. And we know that he would mean that.
Absolutely.
So here during this fight, Mr. Krieg rips off Sam's burlap sack that's over his head and reveals his evil little pumpkin face.
He's got a great head.
I'm gonna start saying that to people. You've got a great head. That could have multiple meanings. You know what? We're moving along. We're moving along.
He's cool looking though.
Sam is really cute.
Yeah.
I think he's cute. Even his little evil pumpkin face, I think, is cute.
He's cute and cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a great
He's
head.
cute and cool. For some reason, that just gave me like middle school vibes. That's something you would write in a yearbook. You're cute and cool.
And cool.
So here, Mr. Krieg finally gets a shotgun back and he shoots Sam with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Sam is like laying against the wall and he does what I think is very smart. He shoots Sam again, like twice. And we see here that Sam has pumpkin guts that are coming out.
It's
instead
pretty
of blood.
cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, no wonder he was so pissed when she blew the candle out. That's his family
He
member.
is a pumpkin.
He's a pumpkin.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense now. And so,
Man, he must really hate kids that smash the pumpkins.
oh, I can only imagine. I was wondering that. So if it's not lit, what if they just smash the pumpkin and it's not?
I feel like, I mean, that's like cardinal sin. You can't be
that's
smashing
like,
pumpkins.
That's his auntie or something.
No, for real. For real.
So Mr. Krieg here calls 911, also logical, even though you just saw that the thing has pumpkins for guts. Like, what are we even dealing with? But whatever. What else are you going to do? So calls 911. This I thought was really funny, enough that I wrote it down, was when they answer the phone, they go, 911, please hold.
Yeah.
And I was like, do they do that ever? And then it's like piano music.
Yeah, it's like when you're waiting to talk to someone on customer service.
Yeah, which they do then answer the phone pretty quickly after that. But I was like, wait, what? Was that just like something funny to throw in there? Because I hope 911 doesn't ever do that. But they come back on the line. It's too late. Sam is actually not even Sam. He gets stabbed by Sam's severed hand. I think he got blown off with the shotgun.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it's just the hand that stabs him. And Sam clearly has willpower over this hand still, because then the hand crawls back to him like Thing from Addams Family.
Yeah. Oh, I said the same thing.
Yeah. And it resurrects Sam by touching him, and then it reconnects itself.
Yeah, he like reanimates himself and like, yeah, like, I mean, I guess because he's a pumpkin.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not a person. He's a
Why
pumpkin.
not?
He's like a snowman.
Yeah.
You just got to roll a new ball, man.
Clearly it's supernatural, so I'll accept it.
Yeah.
Sure. So here is where Sam takes out his lollipop, which at this time is in full, and he takes a bite out of it and makes it sharp into the iconic image that if you're watching the YouTube video, you can even see on my little mug here. So Sam goes to stab Mr. Krieg with his lollipop.
Yeah.
And as he does, he hits a candy bar, which is very interesting because he had just had candy all over the house and all over him.
Yeah.
It was such like a slow motion scene. It was pretty funny because Mr. Krieg, like, you can't tell, like, there's a stab and he kind of like opens one eye, and so it's a little comical. And you realize that Sam is stabbed into a candy bar.
Right. Yes.
He picks it up, takes a bite out of it, and then walks away.
And he leaves. Yeah.
So this implies that he accepted that as Mr. Krieg gave him candy, that he did pass out candy, is how I took that.
Oh, wow.
Because
Wow, I feel like you have such a better understanding of this movie than I did.
I think I've watched it enough times that it just little things now I'm picking up on. But you were also saying things like, I didn't even realize that Spite was not in the scene anymore.
Yeah.
Because I was paying attention to stuff like this. But
This, though, matters to the story.
well, I don't understand why he would have just left otherwise.
You know, what I was thinking was, I think I even wrote in my notes, I think I said, like, I don't have it written down, but I think I was thinking that Sam was like, all right, like, I've put you through enough.
Okay.
I've taught you a lesson.
Yeah.
Now you better hand out some candy.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I interpreted it. I just thought he was like teaching this guy a lesson or something.
Okay.
Because at this point, Mr. Krieg hasn't done anything that, in my opinion, warrants this kind of malicious attack. So in my back of my mind, I go, okay, he's not going to kill him because he hasn't really done anything that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, what you're saying makes much more sense.
I think one of the rules was also about passing out candy or not passing it out,
Yeah,
rather.
yeah.
Like you're supposed to do that on Halloween.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Unintentionally, he gave out candy
Mm-hmm.
and that saved his life. And which is funny because then you do see him later like wrapped up in bandages, just like reluctantly passing out candy to the trick-or-treaters.
So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Sam has taught him a lesson. And now
Then he better pass out candy.
he's going to
Yeah.
hand out candy and he doesn't hate the kids.
Yeah.
And he's accepted Halloween into his heart.
I don't know about that part.
That's what I thought. I went,
Yeah.
oh, it's a happy ending.
But that makes sense. That makes sense. It could be either way. I don't really have confirmation, but I'm taking it as
If it was a Goosebumps episode, it would have ended right here.
for sure.
Yeah.
So you do feel bad for the old man until
Mm.
it zooms in on the photos that he was burning earlier. And you see that there's a photo of the kids from the bus earlier in the masks with the bus driver, which why did they even take a photo together? But before they went off the rock quarry cliff, there's a picture that he was burning, implying that he was that bus driver. And the bus driver did survive because it was Mr. Krieg.
I lost when I pieced that together.
So many good twists in this movie.
It was such a big reveal that I didn't guess that. I didn't think that at all.
Nope.
In fact, I didn't even remember it on the rewatch.
Me neither. When we just rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
As we were getting closer.
I remember the werewolves
Yep.
very clearly.
I remembered the werewolves and Steven, and that was about it.
I remembered Sam. Like, I remembered
Oh, well,
Sam
yeah.
being a part of it. And I remembered the quarry. Like, the kids
Okay.
going down to the quarry. I remembered that. But I did not recall this big-ass twist.
Yeah.
It was great.
Love it.
Yeah.
So now we see all the main characters passing each other on the street. So all the stories are now kind of coming together in the same scene, which I also thought was really cool.
Loved it.
I mentioned earlier, Mr. Krieg is now reluctantly passing out candy to the remaining trick-or-treaters. We see Emma and Henry from the beginning of the movie.
From now, from
Okay.
Sam's POV.
So we know they were alive at this point.
Yep.
We see Rhonda going home alone. Mm-hmm. We see the werewolf girls laughing in their car. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Krieg's final trick-or-treaters are the zombies of the kids he murdered on that bus.
I was full on cheering. I was cheering. I was like, yes, get him.
It was such a good ending, such a great way to end it. And then they do show a couple seconds of like the comic, similar to the opening credits. They show a couple seconds of a comic implying what happened to Mr. Krieg after that, which is pretty much getting torn to shreds.
Right?
And then the end.
Every bad person in this movie.
Comeuppance.
And one little thing that I thought was really cute too is Billy is now dressed exactly like Steven.
Oh, yeah.
With the fake blood and everything. I saw that and was like, that is such a great little.
You know what?
Tidbit.
I didn't realize that he was dressed like him, like on purpose. I was thinking he was wearing his clothes. But why would he be? They'd be gigantic on him.
If you watch it back,
Yeah.
he's wearing like a mini outfit of what
Yeah.
his dad had on with the blood on it and everything.
I thought he was wearing like Steven's actual shirt with blood on it, but that makes sense because the clothes fit him.
they're
So-
like little. Isn't that funny and so cute?
It is funny. Even though Billy was obviously like a little sociopath in the making, it's his father's fault. I blame his father.
For sure.
He was still very cute.
He was cute. He was really cute. And also I wrote on my notes that the end credits music is fantastic.
I just love this movie so much. When I first watched it, I was not expecting to really think much of it. I didn't have any expectations going into it the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it when it first came out. I think I watched it for the first time maybe less than 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed by it. I loved the storytelling. You just know, I mean, we're pro wrestlers. We love a good story.
We do. Yeah. And I really appreciated like the way that they so seamlessly tied every story together. And not only that, do you know how hard it is to do like a jump around timeline?
I can't even imagine.
To do that smoothly
Yeah.
is so tricky. And
Yeah.
they do it. He's obviously a fantastic writer.
Yeah, like when I'm watching this, I don't find it hard to follow the different scenes, the different, like earlier, later.
No.
Like you just kind of go, oh, okay, so this actually happened earlier. And then you just like, it just flows.
Without holding your hand.
Right.
which I think I've told you this before. Like I don't need to be reminded of what happens in an earlier scene.
Yes.
I know what it is. You don't have to hold my hand.
Yes.
I know some people appreciate it, I guess.
It feels like something more for a casual audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If like maybe it's in a TV show. Okay, I kind of
Yeah.
get that because maybe you missed an episode. But he does it so well in this movie. He doesn't hold your hand through it.
No.
But it's written so well that you don't need that.
Yeah.
You just piece it together. And I think it is great that he seamlessly has Sam involved in every sort of situation that's going on here.
Yeah.
You've opened my eyes to Sam's appeal.
Okay.
You have. Like, I still am not going to go out and buy a whole bunch of Sam merchandise. Like,
Yeah.
it's still not really my thing.
Yet.
Right?
Spirit
Well,
has
now,
a lot of it.
now I feel like I need something on my shelf. But I appreciate it more, and I can see more why he is so popular and why people love him so much. Now, it does not surprise me that people love this movie, though. This movie is really good.
Yeah. Whether you're a huge fan of Sam or not, this movie is so well written, like you said.
Yeah.
And we highly, highly recommend it.
It captures the spirit of Halloween. We're in October. I would highly recommend either saving it for Halloween or putting it on your 30 Days of Horror.
Yeah. So let us know if you like this movie. Also, let us know what your favorite movie based on Halloween is.
Ooh, yeah. I love that. There's so many good ones.
Yes.
I'm excited to cover the next episode.
Me too. We already mentioned it earlier. It's Halloween H2O.
I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. Don't forget, if you want to come and hang out with us on October 20th, tickets are on sale. I have the link in our show notes. And if you haven't already, it would help us out so much if you would give us a 5-star review and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can watch full episodes if you want to actually see us.
Yes.
See the neat background, the lights.
See, sometimes dogs pop up. See our props on the table.
We got props. We got cute, like, horror outfits every single time.
Yeah.
It's very festive.
And definitely come check us out. Come hang out with us on October 20th.
Yes.
This is going to be one of your last chances to buy tickets and come hang out with us in Buffalo, New York. We are doing a live screening of The Lost Boys, and we cannot wait to hang out with you and meet so many of you.
It's going to be awesome. Okay, bye.